So while talking about details, I'm finding it much easier to use this audio thing. So even though I haven't sewn this together yet, what I really did was I just pulled from the basket of prepared squares, which I sort by color anyway. And of course, it's not exactly by color. A lot of times those shift depending on the day, but just sort of the feel of a group of colors. And the ones I picked out seem to go together well. So 1, 2, and 3 were picked from the blue group. And number 1 is an old kimono silk. It was a small scrap. And again, I'm using scraps that are just about big enough for me to make squares out of them. So in this case, I look at this and I think, okay, it's great the way it's a partial motif there. And I'm thinking, I talked about piecing corners and I talked about dyeing the corners. But there's nothing to stop you from actually placing the square on a print or a woven pattern so that you can crop the pattern into some sort of a corner. So that opens up some possibilities, and I think probably I'll play with that tomorrow. Number 2 is just it's actually one of my Resist Moons made with a penny over an existing print, and it happens to be the back side of the print. I use the back sides of prints a lot because they're softer. 3 is one of those soft dyed corners, and I'm looking at it today not just as a corner, but also how it creates a kind of a glow. So I'm going to keep that thought in my mind. 4, 5, and 6 are from the green group. 4 was actually a yellowy orange cloth that was dipped on both sides into the indigo vat, which made it turn green. That's a great way to get green, actually. And what I ended up with was kind of this path of warmth running through it. And I did piece some pieces back a little while back that I called a path through it, which was actually 3 sections. And maybe I'll pull those up again because I like this as the dyed version of that. And 5 is just the other side of a greenish linen print. A lot of times also you can see the weave and the texture of the cloth better on the back side of the print. 6 is just, I think it's harem cloth, that really thin cloth. And I think it was dyed in the pomegranate from last year and dipped into indigo, but I can't remember. 7 is just a yarn-dyed linen that happens to have kind of a slubby white yarn running through it. 8 is just some brown fabric. And 9 is actually a piece of olive green from a pair of capri pants, cotton, that I had in college, which I think was 1971. So this is nice. I like how grouping the 3s horizontally can give you a landscape effect. And I think I might stitch some leaves in there eventually. But first, I'll sew it together.